Hi everyone, it's Tammy. How you guys doing this week? Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. So hi. I'm just gonna put hi. So today we're gonna talk about a few things. One of the things is about the paper trail. Okay, I just dropped stuff. So the paper trail is what you guys need to secure your services. You can't just walk in there and say, I want this for my kid, and then they just give it to you, because they don't. So today we're going to talk about some of the things that you guys might need to participate. So if you're out there, could somebody just check in? Because I need your help. So anyway, okay, so I did go live. So I hope you guys all come and join me today, and let's see what we can do to help everybody out. So some of the paperwork that you guys, my name is Tammy Joya, and I'm an advocate for children with special needs, and I help parents advocate for their kids and help them to navigate the system. So tonight what we're going to talk about are some of the things that you guys can do to help yourselves. Okay, so one of the things is it's called the paper trail. Now, in legal terms, a paper trail is your evidence, okay, to support what you want, to support what you want for your kid. I'm sorry, I keep thinking, and I'm just having to look and see what it is. But anyway, you need, if you're going to ask for a special reading program, like say Orton Gillingham, you need proof that to give to the school. Because if the school that you ask for it and the school says no, so now you have to prove that your kid needs this particular thing. I don't know why this says 3 comments. Oh, there you guys are. Thank you. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, no problem, Michelle. I really love it. I just figured out a new thing. I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a minute. Hey, Amanda. We got to talk, don't we? You sent me a message about something. Hi, Patricia. How are you, honey? So when you ask for stuff and the school district tells you no, first of all, if your kid's already on an IEP, they need to put that in writing. And you guys know I talk about that, putting it in writing stuff constantly. They say no, then they have to tell you why and what for. And they have to tell you what they relied on to come to their conclusions. And if they never evaluated your kid for that particular area, they're screwed. Okay. So the first thing that you need is a paper trail. You need prior written notice of them refusing your request for an evaluation. Okay. Or for particular service. Now, when I say they need to provide you guys with prior written notice, there's a form, or and if they don't have a form, whatever they send you has to it has to be aligned with the federal regulations. Okay, so there's several things that they have to include in their refusal. I'm looking over here because I have my other piece. I have my other computer over here, and I'm just scrolling so I can share the screen with you. Because I've never done this before with you guys because I can never get this upright, but now I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen with you, okay? This is where, okay, what's it doing? Share, duh. Okay, share screen. So when your kid's on an IEP and you ask the school district for something, okay, and they say no, this is what they have to do, okay? You see it says here, prior written notice, okay? See that? Prior written notice, all right? So prior written notice is about the school district must. It's not up for debate or discussion. They have to do this. Yes, it's getting worse too. We will discuss. Okay, honey. Tomorrow I'm not going to be around, but you can call me on Thursday, okay? Call me after 10 and before 12, okay? How's that? Okay, so prior written notice is what the school district is obligated to do. So they must, if you ask them about, okay, this is I want you guys to pay attention to this. If you ask them about, what you're doing is you're proposing to initiate or change the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of the child, or This is my favorite, the provision of FAPE to the child. Okay? So now, what you're doing to them when you ask them for, let's say, Orton Gillingham, okay, the reading program. First of all, you want to make sure that any program that they're offering up instead of Orton Gillingham or Wilson or any of the top 10 reading programs, okay, they have to put it in writing. And they have to tell you what it is. So you can go look it up. You can go do your research on it, because all reading programs are not the same. Okay. And just because a school district is giving it to you doesn't mean it's good. I mean, okay, for instance, I just had a kid who was in this program called Sit Together and Read. I think I told you guys this before. Sit Together and Read. I thought they did that anyway in school. This is the name of the program for reading. By the way, the kid can't read, but they've been giving this kid this program for like 3-4 years. And Padal, they just found out the kid is dyslexic. This is the nonsense. This is 4 years. We're going on 4 years with this kid, and the parent got a neuropsych done, and this is what they found out. Meanwhile, they're giving him some half-baked program. See, this is why the paper trail is really, really important in securing what you need for your kid. It's like super important. Okay, guys? Okay, so the prior written notice, when you ask for a particular program now, under this law, it says the provision of FAPE to the child. FAPE is a free and appropriate public education. Okay. FAPE means that if you're saying to the school that if my kid doesn't get this program, okay, or something comparable, not some half-baked one, but something actually comparable, okay, that's delivered by someone with, I don't know, sense, like certification in that field, somebody who has certification or a license, like in reading. Like in Massachusetts, we actually have certified reading specialists in Massachusetts. Okay. I keep saying we like I live there. I don't live there. But anyway, so I'm looking at my sister's stuff. Anyway, so you want something comparable, not some half-baked idea of a reading program, because you actually want to see if your kid can like start making connections with reading, and being able to put together a sentence properly would be nice, grammatically correct and all that, and knowing the alphabet, both uppercase and lowercase, and all of the things that you need to know to read. Okay, because as your kid gets older, your kid's going to start hitting brick walls, because the work becomes more complex. The work in school is all about writing and reading. Okay. So if your kid can't put a sentence together properly, if your kid doesn't know what a noun is or a verb is, parts of speech, there's a problem. If your kid's in the 4th grade and your kid doesn't know what that means. Okay. When the teacher says, I want you to write a sentence that consists of a noun, a verb, and a noun. Noun, verb, noun. Okay. We all did this in school. Nothing's changed on that part for us. Okay. We're older. But the same things apply. You still have, in order to put a sentence together properly, you still have to have the components of language in there. It has to be mechanically and technically correct. It can't just be a bunch of words on a piece of paper and then we have to figure out what that means. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen kids where they start the sentence and they just keep going. And there's no periods, there's no comma, there's no semicolon, there's no anything. And the teachers and the classrooms are accepting this work as if, well, he's just having a little difficulty. No, he can't write. He can't put together a sentence. That's a bad thing. Okay. It's not something you can overcome by doing magic. Okay. So, and that would, so true. I know. So if they're telling you this wombat stuff about the program they're going to give you that you can't find on the internet, that anybody can do, okay? The programs that are like Orton Gillingham and the Wilson Reading Program and things like that, or something that's like the Ables are, they're specific to the particular thing that is hindering your kid's progress, okay? And schools must provide you with a program that makes sense, that's what's the word I'm looking for? It's technically sound. Okay. It can't be some wombat thing. Okay, it just can't be, because then you get them on a denial of faith, just like this parent is about to do. Okay, because they took so long and because they lied about what this kid was getting, and because he didn't make any progress, they even lied about the progress the kid was making. It's disgusting that they don't even want to teach anymore. I mean, it's one thing we're having virtual school, but even when the kids were in school, this kid was in school for 3 years. He's not the only kid. I've had kids I had one client that years ago, he was in the 7th grade and he couldn't read above a 1st grade level. I mean, who does that kind of stuff? We go to a team meeting and the reading specialist is sitting across from me and she says, well, we have this wonderful program. I said, what is it? And she said that they have a program where the kids will read. They have a contract where they have to read so many books during the summer. And I said, my client can't read. She said, that's the wonderful thing about the program. She said, he can read, he can read any book he wants. I know, paras and sped teachers. I know, it's getting bad, guys. It's going to get better, though. I want you guys to cool your jets and to just hang on just a little bit more. I know you're barely doing it with your fingernails, but you guys got to hang on, okay? It's going to get better. At least now we can see a pinhole of a light. At least I see one. So I looked at the teacher and I said, what? He can read any book? Yes, like a Dick and Jane book. And she was like, well, yeah. And the mother said to me, Tammy, he can't read a Sesame Street book. And I'm looking at the teacher and she said, it's okay because he can read any book he wants as long as he stays within reads the number of books for the contract in the summer. And I said, okay, that's wonderful. So are you giving him the same level of book in the 7th grade science class? Well, how about the 7th grade social studies class or the 7th grade history class? Is that what he's getting in the 7th grade? He's getting 1st grade books. And she just looked at me. I said, that's why I'm asking you these questions, because what you just said was stupid. That's stupid. She didn't like that. I don't care. Okay. I have zero patience for people who are working in the field who allegedly have credentials, okay, to work in this field, to give our kids an education. And then that person is sitting across from me like they just graduated from high school. Okay. They have the sense of a tsetse fly. I have zero tolerance for that kind of behavior. If you're going to insult my intelligence, then I'm going to get whatever you give, I'm going to give back. I just keep it real. Okay. So when you ask for a document, when you ask for a service, rather, when you ask for some sort of equipment, like a computer or a weighted vest or weighted pencils or a slant board or something like that. Okay. And the school district says no, they have to put it in writing, okay? Because under this particular law, it's considered FAPE. In order for your kid, what you're going to say is when you're asking for stuff from them, you're going to say that it's a provision of FAPE for my child to have this, okay? And so when they refuse, is what it says right here, okay? So under all of these conditions, identification, evaluation, educational placement, or the provision of FAPE, okay? FAPE is access to the general curriculum. So if the school district refuses to initiate or change, refuses your request, okay? Because the only way you can refuse something is if somebody has asked you for something, then you could say no. You don't just walk around saying no to yourself. So when the school district refuses to initiate, okay, because they're talking about the before the public agency, okay, so they're talking about the public agency. It's the sentence above, okay. So when they say refuses, they're referring to the public agency, see, because it says right here, a written notice that meets the requirements of paragraph B of this section must be given to the parents of a child with a disability a reasonable time before the public agency, okay, proposes to initiate the change or refuses to initiate the change, okay. Hi, Michelle. How you doing, girl? Okay. Now, here's the cool part about this prior written notice. Like I said, no matter what, when they say no to your request, and you never make a request without you making that request in an email, you email it to them. You email it directly to the special special education director in your school district. You do not do it to the team chair. Team chair, blah, blah. Team chair has no power whatsoever. Okay. The team chair has to go to the SPED director. However, when you're at a team meeting, the person that's controlling that meeting, unless the SPED director is there, that team chair was designated with the power and authority to grant or deny your request. Okay. The team chair can never say, well, let me go ask this. No, because this meeting is stupid then. I'm out. Because you have to, because now it's an illegal meeting. And that's a whole nother thing I'll get into later, but I can prove it. If they don't have the proper people at your team meeting, then it's illegal. Okay. You cannot have somebody who's at that team meeting that has not been designated to make those types of decisions. Okay. But so let's get back to prior written notice. Okay. So the content of that notice has to include the following. Okay. So you ask for Orton Gillingham, or you ask for a slant board, or you ask for extended day, or you ask for ESY, whatever it is. Okay. If they tell you no, they have to do this. They have to give you an explanation. First of all, they have to include the description of the action proposed or refused by the school district. Okay. So if they're refusing it, they have to say in their notice what they're actually telling you can't have. Okay. Then they have to tell you why. They have to actually explain why they're refusing. Okay. A description, and then they have to say basically what they use to come to that conclusion. This is all because you want Orton Gillingham or you want a slant board. This is your paper trail. Okay. In this form, if they miss a beat in this form, they're screwed. They don't answer every single one of these questions. That's your paper trail. You're going to say, I asked for this and it's not in here. Or I asked for this and they didn't describe any of the evaluation procedures, assessment, a record, or a report the agency used as a basis to refuse my request. Okay. There's nothing in it. Believe me, it's in there. I've seen them. They have tore up what's supposed to be a prior written notice. I have to put this over here. I'm trying to teach myself how not to talk loud. Okay, guys? I'm trying to do this. I don't know if I can. It's a behavior thing I'm trying to do for myself because I talk too loud and I don't even understand why I talk that loud, but I get excited to talk loud. Anyway, so I wrote, can you guys see that? Talk slowly. So I talk fast. That's when I do it. So anyway, so then the prior written notice also has to include a statement that the parents of a child with a disability has protection under the procedural safeguards as part of this. And if this notice is not an initial referral for evaluation, the means by which a copy of the description of the procedural safeguards can be obtained. Okay. This is when I tell you guys all the time, whenever they tell you no, they have to give you a copy of your rights. That's where I get it from. It's number 4 of prior written notice. Okay. Under the refusal to act on your request. It's number 4. Okay. Then they have to tell the parents where they can find it. So if they don't hand it to you, then they have to tell you where you can go find it. Sources for parents to contact to obtain assistance in understanding the provisions of this part. So not only do they have to tell you that, what they're actually saying is who you can contact. And most of the time it's like the Department of Education, or it's an advocate, or it's the parent centers. Every state has a parent center, parent information center for special education. Every state has them. And then the next one, so they'll send you there. And that's why they have to tell you a lot of stuff. See, anytime they don't, then they're screwed, because they really don't want to tell you how you can go figure out what this means, what they're putting in here, and what this law means. Okay. They have to tell you that. And then they have to put a description of other options that the IEP team considered and the reasons why those options were rejected. Okay. So you see, this is a very detailed prior written notice. This isn't some fly-by-night thing that they can just say no and walk away. And they tell you guys no and walk away all the time. I asked for an N2. They hate that. Of course they do, Michelle. Of course they hate that. They hate it. That's why I tell them. And that's another thing. When you're sitting at a team meeting and you're asking for stuff, every single time you ask for something, you let them talk and talk and talk, and you say, okay, so you're going to put that in writing, right? So yeah, that's going to be 300.503, right? You're going to send me prior written notice on that. And what you do is, this is how you get them. When you go to the meeting, you have a list of all the stuff you're going to ask for. Okay. So when you have the list, okay, you're sitting at the meeting and they get to the part and you go, yeah, I'm going to need, they get to read it. You say, yeah, I want Orton Gillingham for my kid. And you explain why. You refer to the evaluations and all of that stuff. Okay. You refer to the evaluations. You refer to scores. You do a whole lot of stuff. Okay. You do all of that. And then they tell you no. And then you look at them and you go, you're going to put that in writing, right? And then you check it off. Check it off. And you write down what the wench said. You write down her name. Okay. Team chairperson said, no, I'm not getting it. Okay. And then you say, you're going to put it in writing. Ask that it be put in writing. Ask their determination. You do that for every single thing you want for your kid during that, before you go to that team meeting. This is how you prepare for team meetings. Okay. And they hate that too. They really hate it. That's why they hate advocates. See, when I go to team meetings, I already know what I'm asking them. I already know what I'm asking for, and I'm waiting for them fools to tell me no. Just wait. Because then this is what you do. Now you have this whole list, and she says she's going to give it to you in writing. You say, when can I expect that? And then you write down the date. Now, when you go home, you write an email, and you say, pursuant to the team meeting today, I requested the following. And you said, you start off by saying, this is to reiterate our conversation today. During this team meeting, I made several requests for the following things. You said no to every last one of them. You also stated that you were going to put it in writing, pursuant to 34 CFR 300.503, prior written notice. And you said that I would have it by such and such a date. Is that correct? Send it. Okay, send it. You just put her on notice. Okay. So now you just said she said no. You didn't go into all of these other questions. You let her do that, or you let him do that. You just say, and you denied my request for all of the above. That's all you do. But you walk in with a list first. I don't care if it's a weighted pencil. I don't care if it's a slant board. I don't care if it's a rubber band thingy that they put around the kids' legs to stop them from, it's for, it's sensory things. I don't care if it's anything. I don't care. Okay. Whatever you ask for. Some of the stuff you ask for could be an accommodation. Okay. An accommodation is like a weighted pencil. Okay. That's an accommodation for your kid to write, because your kid needs the weight in his hand so they can feel it. Okay. Or my favorite is raised line paper. A lot of kids that I've represented who had autism, when they write going up like this instead of going across the line like that. Okay. The reason why they do that is because they can't feel the lines. Well, that's what they say. They can't feel the lines. So based on that, let's help them out. Let's let them feel the lines. If they can't feel the lines, if that's what they're saying, and that's why they're doing that, then what we're going to do is we're going to help them out. We're going to let them feel the lines with their hands on the paper. And the way you do that is you give them raised lined paper. Now that's an accommodation. Okay. That's called an accommodation. It's like a ramp for a child who's in a wheelchair to get in the building. No ramp. Can't get into the building. If the kid can't get into the building because there's no ramp, then that means that's a denial of FAPE. Can't access the general curriculum. Okay. If your kid is writing like this, when he's supposed to be writing like this, then he needs raised line paper. He needs a weighted pencil. Okay. He may need a slant board. That's an accommodation. Those are all accommodations. Okay. That's what they hate that. But they have to put that in writing. I have to tell you, well, no, we don't see that problem. And that's all OT stuff, by the way, that I just mentioned. That's all OT stuff. So that's what you do. You go there ready to rock and roll. Okay. You go there to play. You're bringing it. That's what you have to do. You have to bring it. Girl, you have to bring it. And they don't like any of it. They'll try to cut you off. And what you do is you be cool. You don't be like me. I am not cool. I cut people off. I don't want to hear the yah and I'm all set because I will end the meeting in about 10 seconds. I don't care. But I already know what I'm about to do. But you guys, you got to go slow. You got to take teensy steps at a time. Okay, you do a little bit at a time. So what you guys do is you let them talk and you say, I'd like to speak. Okay. The first time somebody tries to cut you off, you say, excuse me, I have the right to meaningfully participate in this meeting. If you guys thought that I am only here just because you guys are going to say that I was here, then I'll end this meeting right now and I'll get up and I'll walk out and you have the meeting without me. And then when you send me this stuff, I'll make a decision. And then I'll be sure to report the fact that you denied me the right to meaningfully participate. Do you understand? Now, you guys that are living in states where you can tape record, because if you live in a one consent state, all you need is one person's consent, and that's you. Then you guys should tape your meetings. Okay. And then that way you have proof. Now, if you don't live in that state or you don't know, don't tape anything. You have to get permission to tape. Okay. But before you ask a question, already know the answer. Okay. That's like lawyer stuff 101. Lawyers never ask a question that they already don't know the answer to. They just want you to say it. Okay. So that's why you have to come prepared. And see, writing out this list also, you're creating a form. You're creating your own paper trail. Okay. This is for this particular team meeting. In this instance, this is what you want for your kid. Okay. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, girl, how you doing? So this is what you want for your kid. Okay. So this is all about, see, when you write up the meeting things, see, the school district thinks that they send you guys an invitation. So they're running the show. No, they're not running no show. You're running the show. Okay. So when you get there, you break out your little file or your computer. Girl, you get that all set up. Cynthia, hi. Hi, please go slow. I'm taking notes. Okay, you're taking notes. Let me let you in a little secret. Girl, after this video's done, you can go back and rewatch it and rewind it. Okay? I'm going to try to go slow. I told you. I'm going to try. If I'm talking too fast or I get loud, please, somebody just go, Timmy, loud, girl. And I'll calm it down. Okay? Because sometimes I get mad. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for all coming too. But it's okay. Like I said, all you have to do is go slow. I'm going to start chopping up these live videos into smaller segments, okay? Like 30-minute segments, and they'll be on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see them again, I got 3 now I got to do. I won't be busy. But yeah, I'm going to try to keep these down to 2 hours or less. I set up a time frame where I'm going to go on until 9 o'clock. But, you know, sometimes I can cut it short. The shorter I can cut these, the quicker I can make the 30-minute video. So no worries, okay? So anywho, so it's very important that you begin your paper trail, okay? You don't, anytime you go to a meeting, anytime you send an email, let me tell you what paper trail is, okay? Let me give you sort of, and you guys probably are, you probably already know this, okay? So a paper trail is team meeting invitations. You know, when they send them to you, that's a paper trail, okay? Team meeting notes. Okay, that's a paper trail too. What do you do if you go into your meeting and you don't know what you need or what you should be asking for? That means you need to sit down and go look at all of your evaluations, and you have to figure out what do you see is going on with your kid? Where is your kid having difficulties? Thank you so very much. No problem. No problem, Santia. I think I said your name right. If I didn't, just let me know. If you don't know what you're asking for, honey, they're going to get away with a lot. Okay. So what you need to do is, okay, let me see how I can do this. For you newbies, okay, when your child is evaluated, the first thing you need to do is sit down with a highlighter. And what you do is you go through your kid's evaluation. Now, in your kid's evaluations, you should have scales in there. They should be talking about where your kid is at here, where your kid is at there, and there'll be deficits. Okay. So you go in through the evaluations and you highlight all of the deficits. Those are your areas of concern. Because remember, we always want to bring up the deficits to meet the strengths. That's what we want to do. Okay. So remember, you're going to bring it up. Now, the only way you can do that is to have evaluations, and you need technically sound instruments, not sit together and read stuff, not stuff not stuff that they will make up in their little teeny heads. Like, for instance, I had one of my kids, we had the school district do a PT eval. The school district made it up. It was a form that they made up for the recess monitor. Recess monitor. Outside. No credentials, no nothing. She went through the checklist. And lo and behold, kid had no deficits. Go figure. I want you guys to understand one thing. The school district has an agenda, and it has nothing to do with your kid. I'm telling you right now, I don't care what anybody is telling you. They have an agenda, and the agenda is about their egos, and it's about their money. It's all about the egos and the money. It used to be money and then egos, but I'm telling you, the people that I've been dealing with, that makes me want to just throw up. What you want to do is you want to go through all of your evaluations. You pull out report cards. That's what this is all about, the paper trail, Michelle. Okay. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, it wasn't Michelle. Yeah. If you don't know, the paper trail is what you need. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to skip your happy little butt right over to the Dollar Tree if you can. And I want you to get some folders or separators or a notebook and put the things in there that can hold a folder. You need to put all of your kids' stuff in order. Okay. You need all of the evaluations in order. These are the things you're going to do. These are the things that need to be in order for your kid by year. Okay. And the month goes first. The month, like February would be right now. So that would be in the front of your entire file. Okay. So team meeting invitations, that goes in there. Any emails that you guys are asking for stuff, that goes in a file on your computer. Okay. I'm going to do a thing, and I'm going to show you guys how to create, if you don't know, how to take an email. 1, create a thread. 2, an email thread. And 2, how to take an email, save it as a PDF file on your computer, how to go through that whole process, and then create a folder on your computer where your emails are going, how to date them, how to label them, and how to create a folder for them. So everything that's in a folder, like if they send you an email, what you do is say the email is about a service, say it's about Orton Gillingham. So you're going back and forth with the school. What you want to do is always make sure that when you make your request on an email, that you always go back and forth on the same email thread. Okay, don't start a new one. Keep that one going. Now, if the school district starts a new one, I'll show you how to make that a file, a folder, a file. And then you can put it in a folder on your desk. I can show you how to do that. If you don't know how, it's real easy. And it doesn't matter what email program you have. All of them allows you to do it. Okay. What it is you click on your email where it says print. And then when the print thing comes up on the side, it'll say, it'll have a drop-down menu right where it says print to your printer, whatever your printer address is, or, whatever it's looking for. If you don't have a printer, it'll say something about printer. So you look in there and there's a drop-down menu. And then it says save as PDF. That's the one you click. You click it, you save it to it says save to PDFs. You click on it, PDF. You click on it, and then it'll come up with a regular thing, a dialog box that says, where do you want to save this to? And you point it to the file you just created that says emails. Okay. And it says, you just write emails. Okay. Then within that folder, you put in other folders with other emails. So first it says one big folder. Think of this as a drawer, okay? As a file drawer, file cabinet. You open up the drawer. So you mark it on the outside, emails. You open up the drawer and it has all those file folders in it, right? So what you do is you label it. So this one right here will be, the first file folder will be, it already says email. So you say January to February emails regarding Orton Gillingham. They all go in there. Okay. Then you go to the next file, and that one could be team emails about the team meeting or emails about progress. So every time you have emails, you create different folders to put those different emails in. So you put the date. I'll show you guys how to do all of this. Okay. It took me a while to figure it out, that's what I needed to do too. So That's what you have to do. Okay. It's the way, I got these big stupid banana curls in my hair now. It's the way to keep everything in order. Okay. You have to be better than them. Okay. You have to be more organized than them. And being organized is real simple. Okay. It's all, you can even do it on your phone. Okay. You can do it on your phone. It's not that difficult. You can create file folders. And I'm telling you guys, I just found out something that I just absolutely love. Microsoft Edge. You can do Microsoft Edge. If you're not using it, go use it. You can connect all of your devices so that everything that you have on your computer, as far as like your internet stuff, is every single device has the same thing. Okay. So do that. That's number one. Anyway, so you want to be more organized, and that's what this is all about. So things like team meeting invitations, they always send them emails. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they send you hard copy. That's good. Okay. That's really good. You have a notebook for the hard copies, but you have a computer file for everything else. Okay. Hi, Barbara. Okay. So the attendance list, you'll get that with the team meeting invitations. Okay. And if you don't, you need to ask for them because you need to know who's coming to the damn meetings. All right. No, girl, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you how to do this. If you guys want me to do one on computer, how I do stuff for this advocacy, you guys want me to show you how to do some stuff? I'm going to write down some things. So I'm going to show you guys how to. Do you have an email, Santia? If you have an email, hi, Paula. If you have a computer or a phone, let me know. I'm going to show you how to do some stuff. One is creating emails, folders, and then saving emails, PDF. It reminds me of that commercial with that guy. When people become their parents, he says, I'm going to open up a PDF, and everybody goes, oh no. Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll show you guys how to create them and how to label them, all of that, how to create a file, how to take like PDF files in general, PDF files, how to create a PDF file from an email, scoot that stuff. You guys know how to take the stuff from there and put it on your desktop so that you can have access to it without going on the email. Do you guys know how to do that? And I know this, I'm not saying it, I don't mean to say it like, do you know how to do that? If you're not living this, you should know this. It's no reason. Most people looking at Facebook and stuff, I mean, they're not doing this crap. Unless you have a business or you're working in the field, you're working in an office, you're not going to know how to do this. And even then, I didn't know how to do this stuff until I left my job to do this. So, and it's all trial and error. So I'll show you guys how to do, I can show you guys how to do, okay, I'm going to do emails, saving them, and then PDF files from schools to your hard drive or your desktop to desktop. How's that? Does that sound good? No, don't know. Okay, good. So the next one I'll do that. Okay, we'll do a takeoff, and I'll do a short one on that. Saving to desktop. Because that's right now, I'm telling you, because when you're doing a hearing, I just did it. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't get you guys in on that hearing. It didn't matter anyway, because it was just one, it was it was a couple of hours. So it wasn't good. Although I did cuss out the hearing officer, but anyway, it makes me mad. He keeps telling me to stop saying stuff like I'm a lawyer, and I have to tell him, hey, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what that means. He doesn't like it. I don't care. Anyway, it would have been fun because you would have heard me cuss him out. But I don't want you guys cussing out hearing officers. You don't want to make it. I don't care. So either way, I win. So I don't care. But so it would have been interesting for you guys to see it. Marcy, how you doing, girl? Okay, so I'm going to do that. That's going to be my next one. I did some crazy stuff today on my book. 1 minute it was saying I was going to do 504 stuff. The next minute it was talking about something else that I was going to do tonight. So tonight is all about the paper trail, okay? And a little bit about determination of eligibility for specially designed instruction, which is an IEP, and Section 504. I'm going to do you guys want me to do a whole thing on Section 504? That's a whole thing all by itself, 504 plans. I'm going to do that, okay, because it's a hot mess. I can't even believe what they're doing. But anyway, so I'll do that for the next Tuesday, okay, guys? I made an email. You made an email? Okay, good. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do that too. Okay. That's good. All right. So what I have to explain to you guys is like really creating a paper trail. Okay. Let me see if I can tell you guys this. I think I told you this last week. When I take a case like I'm going to hearing. I don't care what it is. I pretend I'm going to hearing. So everything that I do is to protect the parent so that if I have to go to hearing or if I have to file a state complaint, I've already got my ducks lined up. I already know what I'm doing because I got all of the paperwork to prove what they did. Okay. I didn't wait to the last minute to go grab and everything. Okay. So love to see you. Barbara, you would not like to see. You might very soon. So don't, be careful what you wish for. It ain't pretty. I made an email just for school to keep it separate. Yes. Okay. For instance, like for you guys. So I have an email called Sped Ed Live Train, which is specifically for this. Okay. I just created another one, state complaints. So anytime, because like in Massachusetts or anywhere, actually, any of the states, whenever you fill out a complaint, the complaint form includes your email address. Okay, so if I'm doing it for a parent, I have to put in my email address. Well, I'm getting everything all mixed up. I'm not seeing it. So what I did is I created a state complaint email address. So now every time I do a state complaint, all of the state complaints, my state complaints will be sent from there. And any responses from the Department of Education or the school districts will all go there. Okay. And it's a way to get organized. It's just really bad. So yes, and that's a really good thing, Michelle. That's the best way, because you have to keep it separate because it's a mess. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? So yeah, I'm going to teach you guys how to make files, how to save it to your desktop, how to create a file within a file, how to date it, how to put it in chronological order. It's going to be like you're going to get, like somebody's training you how to file paperwork. That's all it is. It's just on a computer. Then I'm going to tell you guys right now, I want all of you to go to Walmart and go buy one of these things. They're like $8. You can even get them cheaper than that. A terabyte is good. Okay. Terabytes are good. If you can get one for a terabyte, that's what you want to do, because the files that you're saving on there are mostly going to be PDF files. Okay. So that's what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do all of that stuff. It's really, really cool. And it'll help you, especially if you have an advocate or you have an attorney. Oh my God. Attorneys love it when you do that. Or let's say you're getting your kid evaluated. Okay. And you got the evaluation. You got the school district already did an evaluation, but now you want to get an independent done. If you keep your paper trail in order, all you have to do is go to this one spot on your computer, click and copy and drag that sucker over to an email address to your evaluator. They'll have everything you have. Okay. Because the reason why that's important, 9 times out of 10, even if the school district is paying for the independent evaluator, they refuse to send the evaluator any records. So we do it. I've gone to a neuropsych, I kid you not, with file cabinet things, the little carry ones. Well, they're not little, but like it's like it's a file cabinet, but it's a carry. It's a carry thing with all the kids' files in it, labeled, dated, everything. One of the, what do you call it? One of the neuropsychs in Massachusetts was like, that was really nice. I like that. Everything was in order. Everything was, I said, I know, I'm good. And then they give it back. I tell her, I want all of that stuff back, all of it. She said, no problem, Tammy. Just when you come, just because I used to go with the parents to the neuropsychs so that I could help the parent explain what we need done. Okay. Because the neuropsychs don't want to do, they want to do things their way, but part of doing an evaluation, just get off track for a minute. Part of doing an evaluation, the evaluator should be speaking to the parents. They should be doing an interview on every evaluation, every one. Then the schools never do it. They don't do it for the things they're supposed to. They don't do it for functional behavioral assessment. They don't do it because they're stupid. Well, it's not because they're stupid. You might tell them something that they might want. Was that MG? Yes. Okay. They do really good ones. If whoever lives in Massachusetts and you want a really good neuropsych, go to MGH, not Children's, go to MGH. I'm telling you right now, if you go to Mass General Hospital, you're going to get a top-notch, thorough neuropsychological. I'm telling you. Now, Every place you guys got to wait. You got to wait for the testing. It's good in Massachusetts. It could be anywhere from 8 months to a year. That waiting list is way worth it. Go. Put your name on that waiting list to get a neuropsych done, okay? Or developmental disabilities evaluation. It depends on what the issues are with the kid, okay? So definitely do that. MGH is the bomb, okay? So anyway, let's get back to the prior written notice. So, well, first, let's do this. I'm going to do the list again. Okay, so first of all, anytime the school district sends you anything, like a form, so if they send you consent to evaluate, you keep that. Anything they send you the IEP in Massachusetts, you have to sign the IEP or it's automatically rejected in 30 days. Okay. So if you sign the IEP, you keep a copy of the signature page too. Don't send them everything. Keep a copy because sometimes, like if you're my client, I'll tell you, sign that, put this on the bottom of it, keep a copy for the records and send me a copy because I got files for everybody. That's why I have these things. Okay. I got these all over the place. All right. So that's what you want. You want to keep the team meeting invitations. You want to keep the notice that has the attendees on it. You want copies of your kid's report card by the year. So you will have 2021 report cards. So some states, I think they do 3, some do 4. In Massachusetts, they do 4. Okay. So discipline records. If your kid is a discipline issue, if the school's always suspending your kid, and all of this is important because if they're constantly giving your kid detentions or they're pulling him out of class, or that's not good. You need to, or they're calling you to come pick up your kid. Let me tell you something. Let them. I've told parents, because it depends on the client, of course. But I've had clients where if the school district was calling the parent to come pick up the kid, and in their teensy little brain, they think that the parent will have more control over them than the kid, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the kid is way bigger than the parent, or way stronger, or whatever, and they don't know what they're doing. All they have to do is reach over and grab the parent while the parent's driving the car, and pow, we're in an accident, people are hurt, all kinds of crazy mess. You are not to go get your kid at school because those wombats told you to go pick them up. If your kid is exhibiting dangerous behaviors like that, let me tell you what you do. You call 911. You give them the address to the school. You tell them that your kid is in crisis. The school can't control them. And they just called you to come pick up your kid and put him in your car. They will be there, and you tell them you're going to meet them over at the school. You put your kid in the ambulance. They take your kid to the hospital. Guess what you now have? A record. They can't handle your kid. Now, this is real important if you're trying to get your kid into a private placement because of those kinds of things. Because if your kid is acting out that bad, then guess what? Your kid's not accessing the general curriculum. If your kid spends more time in school suspension or in the principal's office, out of class, in the hallway, and your kid's on an IEP, guess what? Your kid needs another placement. Whether it's within the public school, it could be within the public school. Okay. But that's how you get your paper. You need stuff in writing because now you go to the hospital with your kid, right? First of all, what they're going to do is they're going to take your kid and they're going to put your kid in the emergency room, in a room all by themselves. Okay. They're going to call in crisis. Crisis is going to talk to your kid. Now, between the time they put your kid in there, your kid gets to the hospital, and the time that crisis might show up, your kid may be calm. As soon as your kid gets to baseline, they're telling you take your kid home. Easy peasy. Okay. But now you have a record that says what your kid was doing when they picked up your kid and how long it took your kid to de-escalate. Okay. And all the stuff in between. Okay. You got a record. I once had a little girl in Massachusetts. A lot of my stories are from Massachusetts because I spent almost my entire career in Massachusetts, and I moved to Pennsylvania, but then I expanded. I started expanding across the United States. But most of my my training was, and that's what I tell Massachusetts all the time, you people trained me and you did well. Thank you. So anyway, I'm at home one night and just watching TV or whatever. I get a call from the parent who lived in the same town. And she told me her kid's flipping out. For months, the parent had been telling me she's seeing things and hearing things. And I mean, she sees them everywhere. The child was also developmentally challenged. Nobody wanted to believe her. We were in the process of trying to get her placed. So they didn't want to believe her. So I go over to the mother's house. This kid tore up her house like nobody's been. TV was flipped, holes in walls, things banging. She's beating up on her mother. I walk in there. I was like, have you lost your damn mind? Get in that room. So, I could do that because, one, the mother gave me permission. Two, I wasn't touching her. I didn't do anything like that. But the reason why it was effective is because the kid didn't know me. I had the upper hand at that particular moment. So that moment, it was cool. So I went there, calmed the kid down, got her all situated, went home, and that's when the mother called me again, told me what she did. No, I was right the first time. So she did it again. The mother calls me again. I said, call 911, get that kid over there. We go to the hospital, and the dumb doctor who's running the emergency room, she tries to jump in the mother's face. I was standing, looking at the kid. She didn't know I was with the mother. I'm 5'9" in flats. The mother I was with was about 4 feet tall, maybe a little bit taller, 4'5", maybe right around there. And this doctor was, and she was almost as tall as me. And she's like, ding, 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 ding. This kid's got to go and all of this stuff. And walked across over to her and I said, excuse you. What do you mean the kid's got to go? This is the emergency room, is it not? She said, yes, but we have people. I said, I don't care nothing about those other people. I only care about one person, that kid right there. Look at her. You don't think she's an emergency? Let me tell you, want this kid out of here? Let me tell you what you do. You get on a phone and you tell Crisis to get their butts down here as fast as possible. The faster they come down here, the quicker we can get out. We're not leaving here unless Crisis comes in and tells us it's safe. Unless you want me to leave right now, and then I can go to the media and tell them a whole bunch of stuff you said. Is that what you want me to do? She turned around. She got on the phone. She called Crisis. Crisis was there in 20 minutes. Back then, I was smoking. So I went outside to take a break. Before I got done with my cigarette, Crisis was there. Usually, Crisis takes 4 hours at least to get to a hospital, especially where we were. We were in a little town called Wareham. We were at the Toby Hospital, okay? So the doctor calmed right down. But see, you have to be careful, okay? So anyway, I digress. I do it all the time. I'm just telling you guys this stuff because you have options. And that's why I tell you these stories. And that's why I go off track. Because I don't want you guys. Sometimes parents feel like they're all by themselves. And that they're the only ones that are going through this nonsense with their kid or with the providers or with the school district or with a private school. You're not. Telling you right now, there's so much shenanigans going on out there right now. I can't even see straight. I just want to, but I don't. I get them other ways. And so that's what we always have to do. We always have to think outside of the box about how we can address a problem. Okay. You can't do it their way. Like I told you guys before, when you're in a fight like that, okay, they're coming, they're saying, we're going to play baseball. And you're like, we ain't playing baseball. We're going to play football, okay? And you change the whole game. That's what you do. They don't know what to do with that. And that's what you always want to do. You want to keep them so they're like, I don't know what she's going to do. Being unpredictable in that way is a good thing, okay? Because 1 minute you could be cool. The next minute, not so much. It just depends on what the situation is. Your behavior is situational. So for me, it depends on the situation. I could go to a meeting and it'll be easy peasy. I don't raise my voice. I don't yell at anybody. I don't tell them about laws they broke. Easy peasy. But then there are days when I'll go to a meeting and they're literally talking nonsense. It's like, so you don't know anything about these regulations and why are you here? I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know why you're here and all of that. So anyway. The best way to combat that, the best way to counter all of that nonsense is to be prepared. So If your child is acting out in school, you do not. If your kid is being violent at school, okay, throwing things, hitting the teacher, won't calm down, okay, yelling and screaming and carrying on, and nobody can contain your kid, what you need to do is call 911. You're going to create a piece of paper, okay? You're going to create a piece of paper. You're going to create two. One, when your kid gets there, you call them up, they write that up. Two is when they discharge your kid. Okay, all of that's written up. The parent reported this, the parent reported that. All of that's in there. And so when you're talking to them, you're telling them, yes, they called me. They want me to come pick up my kid. My kid, they don't even have the services there. You tell them exactly what they said to you, who you spoke to, who called you, what time they called you. All of that will go in their discharge summary. You got this. That's how you work it. That's how you do it. You cannot put a child in your car. I don't care how old they are. Because they can open up. What if they're not even going to hurt you? They can open the car door and jump out on the freeway. Okay, they can throw something at somebody else, roll down the window and throw something out the window and cause an accident. See, these are the things that schools don't want to think about. Okay, oh no, that's not going to happen. But see, what I tell them is if the parent comes here to pick up the kid and something happens, I'm suing you. Telling everybody what you did, you knew this. Okay. But if you call and I'm telling you, it has to be serious. Don't call 911 because your kid chewed out a teacher. That's not serious. I'm talking about your kid being physically violent in the classroom, being verbally aggressive, refusing to calm down. That's when you know your kid is in crisis. The more they try to talk to him, the worse the situation gets. That's crisis. Your kid needs to de-escalate. Your kid needs to be brought down a baseline because you can't talk to your kid until your kid gets the baseline. You start telling your kid, calm down, that just pisses them off more. Stop. Don't do that. You call crisis, even if they're doing this in your house. When you can't handle your kid at home, it's not a bad thing. Okay, it is not a bad thing to call crisis. And furthermore, all you have to do, you call them and you say, look, I don't know what to do. My kid is screaming. My kid won't stop crying. I don't know what's wrong with my kid. And I'm telling you right now, the best place to do this is at school. Okay, because I don't like social services. And the reason why I don't like social services is because 9 times out of 10, they find fault with the parent, but they never find fault with schools. The stuff can be what the Barbara says, I can follow this because I lived it and still do. I know. And she's right. I can't tell you the amount of times I've talked to Barbara and I've had to walk her through situations because they wouldn't listen to us. And then we nailed her because she found out something from another parent and she got the documentation that she needed. It was documentation. And then they got in trouble. And then the next thing you know is, hello, we're going to a private school. Not one, not two, 3 different ones. Not just a day, but now in a residential, costing way more money. But it's because we had the paper trail. Without that paper trail, she wouldn't have been able to do it. We had the paper trail. And they refused to tell us. We found out from somebody else. And when I found out, I was livid. And that's how we got the placement. Massachusetts has a lot of private schools, and they're closer together than like here in Pennsylvania. Like the nearest, special needs school could be like 4 hours away. I mean, this place is huge. This state, in square miles, it's huge. It's way bigger than Massachusetts. But Massachusetts, the one thing I can say that I really liked about Massachusetts are the private schools. But it's just the better of two evils because I have problems with private schools too. They do whatever the hell they want and nobody says anything to them because they're a private school. And that means they must be good. No, just because it costs more doesn't usually mean it's good. It just means it costs a lot of money for something that you could get at Kmart for like pennies. So that's all it means. So anyway, but it all had to do with the paper trail. Okay. We had the paper. I had been working with Barbara for years. And so I had built up a nice little, and they're dumb. They're just dumb. I've chewed out their attorney on numerous occasions. Yeah, one is near her, about 15 minutes away. Around Barbara, there's about, they got the League, they got the May Center, there's another one. They got Cardinal Cushing. She has about 4 or 5 private special needs schools, and she doesn't live in a city. She lives in a little teeny town. It's not, I mean, it's like in the country, but near her, there's like 5. Near her, there's 5, at least 5. There may be more. But that's what's great about Massachusetts. Now, the downside about Massachusetts, everything's very, very, very expensive. I tell everybody that lives there, move. Just move. But anyway, so back to this. Discipline records. Okay. So now here's another thing. So let's say they tell you to come pick up your kid. Okay. So you say you suspended them. They'll say no. Let me tell you why they'll say no. If your kid gets sent 10 suspensions in 1 year, that's a change in placement, according to the law. It's a change in placement. So they'll tell you no, they're not suspending them, but they want you to come pick them up. You say, okay. You call 911. Now, the cool thing about calling 911, if you have to, okay, due to danger, if you have to, and the worse your kid is, at that moment when they come to pick them up, if it takes 2 people to take him and put him in the ambulance, or if it takes a lot of cajoling to get him just to go into the ambulance, all of that's getting written down. Okay. So that's how you create that paper trail. All right. Now, like I said, only in emergencies. You cannot take your kid in a car if your kid is acting out. If your kid is being violent, believe me, if your kid is way up here with his behaviors, just because you're going there, your kid don't care. He's in a state right now, or she's in a state right now. Okay. And the more you say, calm down, the worse it gets. Stop telling them to calm down. Okay. Stop. They need to be in a safe place where they can't hurt themselves and they can't hurt others. But what that does is prove something. It proves that the school just admitted that they can't control your kid. So if you're looking for more services, or if you're looking for a placement, you just wrote it. You just wrote it all up. Okay? Because if I'm your advocate, that's the first thing I'm going after. I want that piece of paper. Okay? I want to know what the doctor said. And I want to know, because right after that happens, Tammy's writing emails. I'm going to need you to do a functional behavioral assessment based on the issues that were observed, blah, 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 blah. Then they're going to do it. And they're going to do it wrong because, they're stupid, because they're cheap and they need that money for themselves. Okay. Or their cousin that they want to hire. That's the kind of thing they do. That's what I think anyway. So that's the paper trail I'm talking about. Okay. And when you come home, you use your phone. Okay. If you have a phone, you can get scanned. You can scan stuff with this. Okay. And you can scan it and then send it. That'll be part of it too. Using your phone. Using phone to scan. Okay. And then that way you can scan it right to your computer. Or there's a way to take a picture and then turn that picture, convert that to a PDF file. That's a whole nother thing. So that way, anything's going down, you take a picture. Okay. Always have your phone with you no matter where you go. In the public school, keep your phone close. Okay. Pictures. Okay. Make sure you don't take pictures of other people's kids or anybody that, you can't. Okay. But keep your phone close, because you might need to call the police or the media while you're there. That's another thing. Get the media on your thing. Get the media on your phone. Okay. Case of emergency, call media. But anyway, IEPs and Section 504 plans, that's evidence. Okay. That's your paper trail. Evaluations, paper trail. Anytime you send an email or you get a response to that email from the school, that's a paper trail. That's evidence. When I say paper trail, I mean / evidence. You need as much evidence as you can get to get what you need for your kid. It's that simple. Okay. You have to prove the need. And the way you prove the need is you create the paper trail that supports what you're asking for. It proves they didn't, because sometimes you can get the service or the thing that you want because they violated all of the laws in between. So let's say they told you, no, you can't have something. And that's all they said. No. No prior written notice, no reason why, no nothing. You file a complaint. Your remedy is you want that thing. Easy peasy. Okay, you want that thing. And the reason why you want that thing is because of all this evidence you're sending in as part of your complaint. You see what I'm saying, guys? You see how that works? You can use the fact that they violated your rights procedurally to the point where it denied FAPE to your kid. Because you have evidence that your kid needs this. You have documentation. They got nothing. You know how I know they have nothing? Because all they said was no. They can't later come up and say, well, we said no because I don't care nothing about what you said, because when I asked you, you said no, and then you didn't follow the letter of the law. For all I know, you invented all of that evidence. Because remember, you have report cards talking about your kid. You know, in the comment section of the report card, that's evidence. Keep the report cards. In some schools, they have the report cards have a section where it says teacher comments. They write all kinds of things. You will not believe the things that I have gotten from report cards. So Marlo says, I moved my daughter from brick and mortar in East Stroudsburg district to cyber located 2 hours away, and they put in her new IEP. The functional behavioral plan was done in Cricket, must be done except what? And it was. It's like seeing a new doctor because the old doctor can't. I know. See what I'm talking about? You're learning. These are what you guys have to get through your head right now is every day there's going to be a problem. Going to be a problem every day, because soon as you fix this one, there's going to be something over here. One, because of your kid. Your kid is a child with a disability. Okay. We can't predict anything with them. We have to see, there are some things we can, okay, but some things we can't. So we know that whatever we're doing, we got to roll with it with our kid, okay? But we can control some of that through the laws. We can control that because your kid has a right to a free and appropriate public education, okay? You can control it because you can get services, supports, and supplemental aids, not to mention a more restrictive environment if that's what it calls for. Okay. For instance, a lot of people think that a restrictive environment is when you take a kid with a disability and you put them in a private school for kids with special needs. Well, not so much. Okay. Restrictive is not based on the placement. Restrictive is taking a kid, for instance, who is developmentally challenged and putting that kid in a gen ed class. Okay. Now, that's not to say that a lot of kids who are developmentally challenged could go to a gen ed class. However, they need supplemental aids and supports. 9 times out of 10, not always, but they're going to need something. Okay. So if you put a child in there who's significantly challenged and you put that child in a gen ed class, this actually happened to me. You put that child in a gen ed class, you know what's going to happen? Nothing. Everything is going over that kid's head. That kid's doing all kinds of stuff in the classroom. Like one of my clients, she put her head down on a desk. She didn't care nothing about what was going on. She didn't understand what was going on in that classroom. All of that stuff was for gen ed kids. She couldn't do gen ed work. Okay, so putting her in there was more restrictive than putting her in a private school with kids who were her peers. Okay, peers, when they say your peers, there are peers that are typical peers. Okay, kids that are typical, they have their own peers. All kids that are typical, that's their peers. If I have a child that is developmentally challenged, my child's peers is not a child that's typical. My child's peers are children that are like my child, that suffer from the same symptoms. Now, the reason why the law is written the way it is. For instance, if your kid's on an IEP, in that IEP, it asks the question, how often will your kid be integrated with non-disabled peers? Okay. So they're using the word two kind of ways. Non-disabled peers means children. Okay. Children who don't have disabilities. Okay. And if they're not going to be with their non-disabled peers, why? Why can't they? Okay. So that's when they talk about peers, that's what they're talking about. So you have to be very careful. When they say peers, you have to ask them, I don't understand, what population does that serve? And I put all of those things that you guys were talking about last week, all of those links from last week's stuff is under last week's video. All of those links for the, one of them was the checklist for the schools and the questions that you guys can ask. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I have a client that needs this. Good. So what you need to do is you need to put your stuff in order. It's the only way to beat them. Okay. You can't go in there with a hodgepodge of stuff digging out. You might be 100% right. Presentation is everything. The more together you are, they got a problem. If you come waltzing in there and you got your shit together, you open up your, I remember one time I went to a team meeting and I sit down I walk in and, I have my laptop and, I have my cell phone next to me and folders on the side and I'm setting up my stuff at the table for the team meeting. So the teacher looks at me and she says, what are your credentials? I said, at the time I said, I'm an advocate. I don't know what you mean by credentials. She said, what do you have a degree? And I was like, no. I sat down and I started doing my shit. Meeting starts. By the end of that meeting, I had that witch crying. And I won. Got everything I needed for the kid. Okay. She was a jerk. Plain and simple. And I usually don't go after teachers, but this woman, I had to shut her down. First of all, she implied that because I didn't have a degree that I was nothing. Okay. She's one of the reasons why I went back to school, because of people like her. Because somehow that means something to somebody. Okay, good. When the principal hides, that's right. That's right, Marcy. I had a school in Massachusetts. A friend of mine told me that it was for pre-K kids. It was a school for autistic kids. And I actually loved all of the providers that worked with these kids. I love them so much. Well, we got to know each other. So I'm the type of person, like I told you guys earlier, I'm the type of person, you cannot sit across from me with a degree in something, okay, that's related to your field, and that's why you're sitting at this table with me. And then I ask you a question and you can't answer me. I got a problem with that, okay? And you can't just give me any answer, okay? Because I'm the kind of person, I'll dig deep. I'll lean into that question. And so now I've embarrassed you because I don't care. You have to come correct when you're at a meeting with me, because I'm bringing everything I got and then some. Okay, I got a few little tricks over here. And if all else fails, I get to yelling. I don't care. I just don't care. I get to talking about how I can report them all to the Department of Education. I can report you to the office of, I get to talking all kinds of stuff. Don't tell me no. I'm the only one that can say no. I'm the only one. Nobody else can tell me no. Okay, nobody. If I'm asking you for something and if you tell me no, you better come correct. You better make sure it's locked, it's solid, that you can't get overturned, because I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I get what I need for my kid. And I mean everything. I will turn over rocks, boulders, buildings, whatever. That's what I'm going to do. So get ready, because you're about to get served. Okay? You have to have your stuff together, and you have to be confident too. See, once you start pulling stuff together like that, you start to build your confidence. So when you go to these meetings, okay, you're like, I got my act together now. Now, just always going to hit something. You're going to be like, what? I wasn't expecting that. But that's okay, because every day is different. But you go as prepared as you possibly can. Okay? You use whatever you can to get what you need for your school within the legal limits of the law. That's what you got to do. Okay? You have to be this way because they don't play fair. I know what they tell you guys. And I'm telling you, I have gone after teachers and people in the bill at the team. Well, I've chewed them out behind them saying crazy stuff about my parents. You know, I'm not the one. What's going on? One's darker than the other? No, it's the lady. Okay. Anyway, it looks stupid. So, and I've had them hide on me. I've had my friends tell me that on one hand, they love it when I'm there because I ask the hard questions. They all said, oh no, Tammy don't play. She's asking questions. And if she asks you a question and you don't have the right answer, she's going to chew you out. She don't care. I was told on one end that they love going to my meetings because they don't know who I'm going after. Usually it was never the teachers, ever, ever, ever. It was always somebody in the administration. It might have been the team chair. It might have been, because by the time I get done, I got lawyers coming to my meetings. I got the special ed director. I got a team chair. I got all the big wigs sitting at the meeting and everybody else because they're afraid of me. I like that a lot because they know I don't care. And when I say I don't care, I file for hearings. I report them to OSEP. They're getting calls on one of them. One of my parents sent an email about what they're doing in I think it was New York. And it was this hearing. While we were in the hearing, something the hearing officer did. And the mother was like, no, that don't sound no kind of way, because it was the state. She had 2 hearings and they tried to combine them. And they said she could only have 1 hearing officer. She was like, this is 2 different hearings. It was a big mess in New York. So the mother sent an email over to NICED, over to OSEP. And OSEP came back and didn't call her, contacted NICED, the New York State Department of Education. And then he told us during the hearing that he got a call from NICED, which is, like I said, New York's State Education Department. And they told him that they're going to separate the cases. Really? So then the mother told him, yeah, because I called OSEP. OSEP called NICED. NICED called you. That's how we do it. Okay? That's how you do it. That's how you roll. You have to roll like this because they don't think you're going to do it. See, now they have a whole different look on you. They're like looking at you from a different lens. Got a little bit more respect. Okay? They don't like you. Those people aren't your friends. Don't worry about it. Nobody cares if they like you. They step out of pocket one time. You get them. Okay, there's always something to do. Don't worry about if they're going to treat your kid bad. They're not going to treat your kid bad. Your kid got one time to come home, one time. And then we could start some stuff. Because prior to you standing up for your kid, there was nothing going on with your kid at school. Everything was good. Now all of a sudden my kid's acting out, and they have to prove it. They have to have a paper trail. They have to have a paper trail. Okay. If your kid's acting out after you started doing stuff, that's called retaliation. That's called OCR, Office of Civil Rights, retaliation and harassment, because you stepped up to the plate, because you were challenging them. That's the only reason why. And guess what? You have a paper trail to prove it. Easy peasy. Don't worry about what they think of you. Don't be disrespectful. Give what you get. That's all I'm going to say. And then you tell them that. I'm going to give you what you're giving me. You're going to get what you're giving. You give me respect, you get respect back. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you're disrespecting them. And just because you're speaking in a strong voice doesn't mean you're disrespecting. It doesn't mean you're yelling. You know how many times I had to tell these people, look, you may not like my tone. That doesn't mean I'm yelling. You don't want me to yell. Me yelling? I could break the sound barrier. Okay? No. This is not even close to yelling. I am talking very sternly to you. You don't like it. That's a whole nother conversation. Like, these are the things I have to talk to when I'm talking to people. Barbara will tell you. That's the kind of stuff I do at meetings. You're not going to sit there and try to diminish me, especially in front of my client, because you want to be in control. See, when I go into a meeting, I'm 100% in control. And it's not like sometimes it's very subtle. I have to go in and I have to get the lay of the land. I want to check out all of the players. So I let everybody talk, especially on the first meeting. I might get to know somebody through emails and stuff. So I get the lay of the land. Okay. Barbara, stop saying it's not awesome. Barbara loves it when I chew them out. I have to chew them out. They're stupid. But anyway, so you have to, if you have your ducks lined up when you go into a meeting, before you go to a meeting, you sit down and you say, well, what am I having this meeting for? Okay. A couple of times my clients kick me under the table to stop because people are getting uncomfortable and I scribble, shush, you're winning. They are squirming because I'm right. Good girl. That's what you do. Now, let me tell you what you do. Okay, Michelle? This is what I tell all of my clients. Don't tie my hands. If you tie my hands by telling me to do that kind of stuff she was trying to do, you ain't getting nothing. This is my field. I know what I'm doing. Okay? If you don't like it, you don't have to ever call me back again. Okay? But what I do is because I am way out there somewhere. I think way outside the box they want to put me in. And most parents want to put me in. And I have to tell my buddies, right, Barbara? I have to tell them, hi, Wendy. Wendy, you don't call me girl. I tell all my customers, look it. I do it my way. And this is why. You came to me because your way wasn't working. You're not going to come to me and make me do your things your way. Because I don't take orders from nobody, number one. Now, we can talk about our strategy. And that's the one thing I do, too, Michelle, is before we go into a meeting, I have a meeting with my clients. And I say, okay, let's get this straight. What are we doing? Okay, this is what I see. Is this what you want? Yes, we go back and forth. And it's like an hour before hearings. When I do complaints, I keep my clients in the loop at all times. They always know what's about to do. And I tell them when they come to you and they're not going to listen to me. Okay. They're going to say, well, I want to hear from yada, yada, yada. And this is what I tell my clients. At that moment in time, you look at them and you say, I'm going to defer to Tammy. Right, Barbara? Yep, I do. I check them. So, and it depends. Now, all the time, I don't do that. If it's a rough school and the parents been having a rough time with them, then I will check them at the door. Because I'm not playing that game. I can't. I come in to get shit done. I don't have time. I'm not whacking my head against a wall because the schools like to have meetings that go absolutely nowhere. Because I want to sit down. I have an agenda. When I go to meetings, I have an agenda. I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I want, and I know what I want to do. And the parent will know what my agenda is, what our agenda is, but what I'm going to do anyway. And I tell the parents, it doesn't matter. I don't care if I make them uncomfortable. Good. That's a good sign. They're uncomfortable. Why? Why are they uncomfortable? Because you're nailing them. That's why you're uncomfortable. If your advocate is making them uncomfortable, it's because your advocate is nailing them. She got this. Leave her alone. Leave your advocate alone. I bet she likes it now. It's kind of fun because what I used to do, right, Barbara? What I used to do is we go out in the parking lot and, all of them are streaming out because they all come from different schools within the district and stuff. So they're all streaming out. Barbara and I standing by the car, cracking up, talking about what just happened, laughing. They don't like that either. Those are all strategies. They're all strategies. It's like when you go to a team meeting and they have those long, skinny tables, like I told you guys before, go just a little bit early. Okay. Or be the first one in the room when the door opens. Get you that table that's at the head of the table. Okay. Good old days. I know, right, Barbara? You get one of those ends. Okay. And you put your client to the left or the right of you. Okay. Control. It's all about control. It's a strategy. And if someone's standing up in that meeting, you stand up too. Okay. You don't let anybody literally talk down to you. They stand up, you stand up. They sit down, you sit down. Okay? Control. It's all about a strategy, people. It's all about a strategy. And I do it all the time, and Barbara will tell you. I've been working with her since her kid was, 5, 6 years now, or more than that. You have to have these strategies. You have to have a game plan going in, and you have to have a paper trail. If you don't have your papers with you that you can refer to during that meeting, even their emails, I mean, nailing them. One time, Barbara, I bet you remember this. We're in a meeting. Okay, so we go to the first meeting, and this witch, she says that she's certified in the Tillian reading method. And I said, you're certified. Now, this particular reading program was developed by these two women that live in like a town that was where I lived. It was like one town over. And then we just looked it up. It said Stoughton, Mass on it. And so I said, okay. So after the meeting, oh, really? I didn't know it was that long, Barbara. So I went home that day. Now, this meeting was recorded. She said this is the same woman, but Barbara told me, had told her she was a BCBA, Board Certified Behavior Analyst. And we found out later she was not. So she lied. So I was already hip to her bull. I really didn't like her. So I go home and I called Tillian. So I said, so you can be certified for this reading program? She said, no. She said, anybody can, purchase our program and deliver it to the kid. And I said, well, I just had a teacher tell me that you certified her for Tillian method. She said, the only thing we certify is attendance to our program, the overview. I said, what? That's what you said? She said, yes. The following week, we had a team meeting, and it was over the phone. I think I was here. I think I was in PA. We did a team meeting in this. So I brought it up. I couldn't wait. She started talking. I said, excuse me. Well, the last time we were at a meeting, you said that you were certified in Tillian. And she's quiet. I said, I called Tillian. They said the only thing they certified was your attendance so that you could get your reimbursed for your attending that training. I said, is that true? So then her boss, who was the assistant sped director, jumped in and said, Tammy, we're not going to what? Well, she said she didn't say it. I said, do you want me to play the recording? You did say it. And her boss said, Tammy, we're not going to, yeah, what? She lied. And that's exactly how he said it. She lied. And I have her on recording. I'm not having it. She's not going to sit up here and lie about a program she's not certified in. Attending an overview for 3 days is not training. Because they do that too, guys, just so you know. If you're getting the Orton Gillingham or you're getting the Wilson Reading Program, go on these people, go on the websites. They'll tell you how many hours you need to become certified. They'll tell you who certifies them, okay? It's like a BCBA, becoming a BCBA. In order to get BCBA certification, you have to take approved courses from a college that the BACB, the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, approved. Okay. And then you sit for the exam. You go through a bunch of other stuff. You sit for the exam. So just because you took some courses, I took the courses, that doesn't mean I'm a BCBA. In fact, if the BACB found out that I was telling people that I was a BCBA, you know what? If I wanted to be a BCBA, they could stop me forever. I'm misrepresenting the profession. Okay. She is a BCBA. She is a teacher and speech therapist and reading specialist, all wrapped up in one. Amazing. She is making the big bucks. She's not a BCBA unless she became one. She's not a BCBA. And I don't think she's a reading specialist. You can look her up though. Go on the DESC's website. You can look her up and see all of her credentials. And you can see, because in Massachusetts, in order to be a BCBA, you have to be licensed. You have to have your national certification and you have to have a license. But Duval Patrick did that to make sure, because the BCBA's running around. I was so angry at my course. BCBA's running around talking about stuff. Oh, it's a joke. It's not funny, Barbara. You're pissing me off. Yeah, that's all the stuff she said she was. She said she was a BCBA. She said she's a teacher. She said she's a speech and language pathologist. She's everything. And she's not, I think the only thing she is a special ed teacher, I think. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, she's just a special ed teacher. That's what I thought. She's an idiot is what she is. And sorry guys, I'm moving around too quick. Okay, there it is. People say stuff sometimes knowing that you're not going to say anything about what they said. Then you're not going to challenge that statement. And see, for me, that's just an opportunity. I don't look at it like that. I don't let things like that slide. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get you on that. Okay. I'm going to call you out in front of everybody. In fact, I'm just not going to say it in private. And I'm not going to tell your boss. I'm going to do it just like you did it. I'm going to do it to you. Same situation. Okay. And that's the other thing. They can't, with me, they don't know what I'm going to say. They don't know what's coming out of my mouth, because usually whatever's in my head comes out of my mouth. And I really don't care. I've been like that all my life, especially as an adult, especially being an advocate. I've never been afraid. And that's what you have to do. She's an idiot. That's what I would say. Crack me up. Thanks, Dana. I hate people. I swear to God, I just want to choke people out sometimes. It's so aggravating, the things that, and I shouldn't say people, because it's not people. It's the public school system. It's the people that work within it. And what aggravates me the most, why would you go into that to hurt a kid? Why would you go into that field? You know you're not good. You know you're not helping. I mean, in your teensy little brain, you call that help? I mean, what planet are you on? Hello? But they don't care. And so this is why I'm going to do this. This is why I went back and got my bachelor's. This is why. And this is why I took another step in trying to get my master's. I'm just so mad now because of some stuff that went down, and I can't even imagine how people are going to school to spend all this money to become a BCBA and then throw the baby out with the bathwater when they get a job with the school district. I mean, it's disgusting. I'm so disgusted right now. I can't see straight. But I hate idiots too. That's what it is. I hate idiots. That's what I have to say. I don't hate people. I hate idiots. You just want to, I can't help it. That's why when I find out you're an idiot, anything comes out of my mouth. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. In fact, that's my goal. My goal is in public schools, when I go to these meetings, sometimes, depending on the situation, if it's really bad and they've really been messing with my parent, I take pleasure in making them cry at meetings. I don't care. I don't care nothing about your feelings. Don't start none, won't be none. That's my philosophy. You start something, there's definitely going to be some. We're going to get this party started. But anyway, I digress. So, but I've been able to do, my courage, when I first started as an advocate, I was shaky. I mean, I go to meetings, I couldn't even hold a pencil. I was shaking so hard. Because I just felt like I had no right to ask them these questions in my head. It was my head. I was psyching myself out. I was right. I knew what I was doing, but the confidence wasn't there. But the more I did it, the better I got at it. And lie to you about your kids' progress. I know. And the truth. They find the truth after. They don't find nothing to find the truth. We have to jam the truth in their face, Barbara. They don't find anything. Look at that ding dong at your school. Look at the special ed director. I mean, I swear to God, she's an evil person. I don't care. She's all kind of evil. She really is. She doesn't care about anything but herself. And she thinks she's a big wig in that little teeny rotten, disgusting town she lives in. She's a big fish in a puddle. I mean, her puddle is so little, I can't even get my whole sneaker wet. I mean, she's just stupid. I don't like her. But anyway, creating the paper trail is humongous for all of you do, okay? Yeah, we do find the truth. For everything that you do, though, that it does so much stuff for you guys, like giving you the confidence that you need, having your together. You walk out of that meeting because before you even realize you're arguing. And you're arguing in such a way. Now, I love to argue. Anyway, So when they tell me no, I say, what for? How come and why not? Okay. I make them work for it during that meeting. They have a lot of splaining to do, Ricky. They do. I make them work. I don't care nothing about it. When they know I'm coming, they put all this stuff together and they know, oh, what? You did what? Okay, we're done. Goodbye, Felicia. It's like I filed in Massachusetts a complaint. I sent this wombat all of the information. So they decided that the word meeting at a private school means that they don't have to send the mother the records that they're going to use at that meeting 48 hours before the team meeting. So I think I read it to you guys. So now I have to tell that moron what the law says. The law says, which is 501, 300.501, I think it's 501, specifically says that as long as you're talking about the kid's IEP, it's an IEP meeting. It's an IEP meeting. Just because you didn't put the word team, this is how aggravating they are. Because they didn't put the word team in front of team meeting, it relieved them of their obligation to provide the parent with the records they're going to discuss at the meeting. And the state came back and said they didn't do anything wrong. Now I got to file another one. Okay, I still haven't filed it. I got to file another one because he's stupid. Okay, and then when he comes back and he says they didn't give her the records and they have to do this, and part of the thing is going to be training. Now, after I get that one, I'm going to file against the state because you made me file this twice because you're stupid. Your job is to investigate the allegation, all of it, not just the part that makes you comfortable, not just the part that keeps the school safe, not just that. And they don't care. This is what I try to tell parents all the time. Going to hearing is not fun. It's sickening. It's with me, it's always an argument because they do some wild stuff. I'm telling you, I cannot even tell you the crapola that's going on in this case. It's unbelievable, the stupidity. And it's not even stupid. They do it on purpose. They want you to think they're stupid. They're not stupid. I say it all the time that they're stupid, but they're not stupid. They're trying to play you. And see, like I said, that's why I know where to find stuff. Okay, that's why I know. I had to learn because I had to figure out another way to get them. And I will use, I'm telling you, if this crap doesn't stop in Massachusetts, I'm going to get all of these files together. I'm going to call them up. And that's right, they don't care. They wouldn't give you copies. File. You know what to do, girl. File. You give me copies or else. Now they're going to talk about, oh, she didn't ask us right. And it's a whole bunch of different things. Oh, she didn't ask us like this. And she wasn't pretty pleasing us. And she didn't kiss our big, giant, shiny butts. They got some kind of excuse why it's okay. And it doesn't have anything to do with the regulation. It's a violation. 613-300.613. Access to the records. Doesn't matter. 501 says, doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it says team. It doesn't matter. If you're talking about the kids' IEP, and I've been telling Massachusetts this for years and years and years, and it took me a long time to find that dumb law, but I knew it was there because I've been talking to lawyers, but nobody told me what it was. But I found that sucker. Okay, one day I'm going to print 307 pages of law. Just go and print it. Because they don't want to listen. Okay, they just don't want to listen. So I do it my way. My way works because my philosophy is I take no prisoners. I show no mercy. You're going to mess with a little kid, you get nothing from me. You're going to get nothing unless I go and I find out a little bit of misunderstanding. Oops, the parent got an advocate. Now we're going to act like we have some sense. I'll let you save face. However, on the off chance that you decide to dig your heels in, game on. We're going to rock and roll like nobody's business. I'm going to take you to places you ain't never seen an advocate do before. I actually had the hearing officer tell me that. Well, I've never seen that approach before. You damn Skippy, you never heard of it before. I just caught you violating the damn laws, and you're telling me you never saw this approach before, Mr. Bigwig guy? When I got done with him before I was too. He recused himself from the hearing. The next day, the school pulled out of their hearing. But he never saw that approach before. I let him have it. Just because you have credentials, you're a lawyer or you're a hearing, means nothing to me. You're going to play by the rules because I'm going to make you. I'm going to make you play by the rules. I'm going to make everybody, because this is what they do. They hold us to a higher standard than them. They're getting all the money. I can't even tell you guys how many times I've told those up to send us the check. Send us a check. Oh, Biden's in? Hey, maybe I'll start having a little conversation with Mr. Secretary of Education guy. Let him know what's going on. You never know. Maybe I could get something going. You never know. Because there's some strange shit going on with OSEP. There's some strange stuff going on with these schools. They're all getting busted doing all kinds of stuff, and they're not held accountable. I mean, by the time they get done, they're already deep into something else that happened a long time ago. So they don't even fix one problem before they stop building up to another one. I don't understand. I'm the kind of person that if I'm going in, I'm going to fix it all. My goal is don't put little Band-Aids all over the place. I'm going to do a thumbnail and it's going to have Band-Aids all over it. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to be funny. But anyway, so the more prepared you are, okay, even if you think it's not important, you're going to put that stuff together if I'm going to jam it down your throats. You guys are going to learn how to do this, because I'm telling you, it builds confidence. It makes you understand. You start putting records together like that, you're going to end up reading some of this stuff. The best thing that ever happened for me is a parent that knows exactly what's going on, because they read the stuff, they questioned the stuff, they have emails to back it up. Okay. Or not even when I say they know the stuff, they know the contents of this stuff. Okay. They know what these records represent. Well, yeah, my kid got the report card, and the report card said my kid is doing wonderful, but his progress report says he's failing. So what happened? What happened between the day before the report cards were issued? Because 2 days ago, his progress reports, everything's failing. Today, he gets a report card, passing everything. How did he make up all of these assignments in 2 days? Did somebody else do the work for him? See, now you're asking questions. Now you're sending emails. When you don't understand, guys, the best way to make a paper trail, say stuff like this. Just for clarification. I asked you this and you said that. And then, so your response is yada, yada, yada. Is that right? Did I understand this conversation right? Because I'm not sure. It could be me. So you play like it's all your fault, like you don't understand, because that's what they like to say anyway. You guys don't understand. Good. I like playing that game. Okay, let's play the I don't understand game. You're right. I don't understand. It's too complicated. I'm a mom. It's too complicated for me to understand that you're not doing your job. Really? So make them in an email. You say, I just need some clarification. We had a team meeting yesterday, blah, 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 blah. What I don't understand is this part. And then you come off from that angle. Okay. So now, and you send it to the teacher. Don't send it to the sped director. You send it to the teacher. Okay. You send it to the team chair. Okay. These little tricks. Always follow up with an email. You have a team meeting. That's what I told you. If you're at a team meeting, 9 times out of 10, you're asking for something. It's just the nature of the beast. You're asking for something. So when you ask for something, you follow up with, and they say no. Oh, you're going to put that in writing, right? You just refused the request. You're going to put that in writing? And they might say no. Oh, okay. And like I said, you got your little handy dandy list. Check it off. You asked that question. You asked for that service. And then you put down what the response was right next to it real quick. No. And then you just put, who said it? Okay. And and then you put WHY. And then if she doesn't you don't ask them for the why. They said no. Let it go. Don't say nothing else. The name of the game is to bury them. Or, my favorite, to let them bury themselves. That's all you have to do. Because you see, under this thing right here, you see, it says right here, a description of the factors, a description of other factors that are relevant to the agency's either a proposal or their refusal. So what other things did they look at? What was the reason for saying no? Okay, here's another one. A description. Now, if you're sitting at a team meeting and you're asking for Orton Gillingham, it would stand to reason that if you ask for a specific reading program, the next thing out of their mouth is to say, well, what we need to do first is to do an evaluation. They never do that. Instead, they say stupid stuff like, well, we got this wonderful program. It's called the Sit Together and Read program. And it was put together by, yada, yada. And so we use it all the time. It has great results. Everything they said is a lie. So you say to them, okay, good. Could I have some information on that? Like, who's the developer? Do they have a website? This kind of stuff. See, they don't want you to ask for that. So what you do is you ask it anyway. Okay? Then what you do is you skip your happy butt back home and you start doing some search stuff, okay, on the internet. All right? I just did it for a parent. She told me she couldn't find an OT to do the ADOS. Let me tell you how they lie. The ADOS is basically a screening. It's not even a screening, really. I'm sorry. It's an assessment to determine whether or not a child has autism. Okay, you can look it up. It's called the AD as in David OS. A lot of parents that have children on the spectrum, they know what that is. So the school district said, "Oh, we'll pay for it." First, they told the mother that they were going to do it, but the developer said they can't because of COVID-19. So the mother told them, well, that's not true because I contacted them and they said nothing of the kind. They said the exact opposite. You can do it virtually. Okay, good. So now they told the mother, well, if you find one, then we'll pay for it. She said, okay. So she calls me. She can't find nobody to do it. 5 minutes. I typed in. I think I typed in, I don't know if it was Mass General Hospital. It might have been, I typed in Mass General Hospital ADOS. I forgot what I did, but I ended up on the link for Mass General Hospital, and it's an OT eval. Okay. So I told them I'd call them up, set up the appointment. And I said, we got this. But first they lied and they said they couldn't do it. Then when she nailed them on it, because she went on the website and she looked them up and she called them and she said, they said that you can do it virtually. What's your problem? So they lie. They lie when telling the truth would be better. But see, they underestimated the mother. They never thought in a million years that the mother was going to go look up that on the internet. That's because they're dumb. And they think of themselves as way up here and we're way down here somewhere. They're so much better than us. They're not. Okay, just because you go to school and you can pass a few courses and you can pass a test and submit an essay to get a degree doesn't mean you're smart. I'm sorry. Common sense, I think, is more important than getting that degree. It's getting a degree. Don't get me wrong. It's hard, especially if you're old. It's really hard, and people put a lot of work into it. But if once you get that degree, you don't use the skills that you were taught in the field that you're in, then what was the purpose of you going to school and paying out all that money? Are you crazy? You got to be stupid. You can't be anything else. Because the skills that you learned, you are not applying in your field. And that's the field you went into school for. Who does that nonsense? That's ridiculous. But this is what they do. They just think they're just so full of themselves. And do you know in most of the professions, you know how you go to a team meeting and like the BCBA will start talking about, all kinds of stuff, positive reinforcement and DRA and all of these words, all of these fancy dancy things. Okay. And you're like, and a lot of parents are afraid to ask, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I do when I go in there? Whether I know or not. If the parent's sitting next to me, I say, that's real nice. Now, could you put that all in layman's terms? Do you know to become a BCBA, one of the things, one of the code of ethics, it's in the code of ethics, that you cannot use behavior analyst jargon to a parent or somebody that you're helping, your client. You have to use everyday language. Okay. And I'm telling you, I hate the language to be a BCBA. I hate it because I get it all confused in my head. I'm like, what? It takes me like 3 or 4 times before I actually understand what they're talking about. But, which is why I'm not sitting for the exam. Because I don't have the patience of a tsetse fly anyway. I'm not doing the practicum. I just don't want to. I'm glad I know what I know. Now I can make them do it or report their butts. How about that? I just had evaluations done. The parent got the evaluations 48 hours before the team meeting. Do you know there's no names on any of these evaluations? So if there's no names now, a lot of people think, well, that's not a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal because who's coming to the meeting? Who's coming? For all I know, the janitor's coming and the woman that works in the cafeteria. I don't know who did these evaluations. I don't know what their credentials are. I don't know anything because they're crazy. And guess where they're from? Massachusetts. Yeah. So, Barbara, I know they break the law, and I understand when the school is not following procedures into having an IEP meeting and knowing still the school is still in violation. I hate school district when they do this. They are trying to pass crappy reports and having BCBA didn't even have, the FBA assessment at the meeting was going to, they can't because they know it's poo-poo caca. And I swear to God, Barbara, I think they know because they know that if the BCBA shows up with that stupid thing, I'm sending it to the BACB. Yes, because one thing I did learn in school is how to report a BCBA. I know how to do it. I got the book, step-by-step instructions. Yeah, I don't like any of them. So all you guys have to do is be prepared. Get all of the records, okay? Now, the other thing you can get, too, is like if you file a complaint and you win and the findings were in your favor, that's a record. Well, it doesn't matter. Whether you win or not, it's evidence. You create a file for that because I'm going to tell you something. When I get done with you guys, you're going to be filing a lot of complaints. And you know why the complaints are good? Is because when you file a complaint, the state at the end of every year has to file a report and they have to put a number on the number of complaints that were filed in that state, the number of hearings that were held, the number of mediations that were held, okay, the number of withdrawals for hearings. A lot of the details go into this report they have to do. It's called an SPP, and I always forget. It's something, state performance plan. That's what it's called. They have to do this report every year in order to get special education money. The state does. And what it is the school districts have to fill out an SPP to give to the state, who then has to take all of the information from all the school districts, compile it into one report, and send that report to the feds. OSA. Keep filing complaints. I don't care if you do it wrong. File it anyway. If you suspect they're doing something, file against them. Denial of faith. So, I wanted to tell you guys this too. So, I'm starting a new thing, okay? And I hope it works. So, I'm going to be doing paid events, okay? I'm going to keep the price low. But because it's small, it's going to be a live video. And it's just going to be for people who have paid the fee and come to the show or come to the training. And I'm going to have documents. Most of the time I'll have something that I have to give you guys so you can follow along with it. The first one that's coming up is the 9 elements or components of an IEP. And we're going to be talking about section 504 too. Which a lot of parents don't know this because schools do it all the time and they just think, they can. But in order to put your kid on a 504, they have to do evaluations, like real ones. The same ones that they have to do to determine eligibility for an IEP. Yeah, that whole thing I got to talk to you guys about. So anyway, I'm going to be doing that. And my goal is to keep the trainings, the price small so that I can have up to 100 participants at one time where I can see you guys. Now, you'll also be able to, if you don't want to see, if you don't want people to see you or everything, you also have the option to call in. But for the most part, it will be live, where we can see each other and we can interact in a better way. You'll be able to, if you wanted to, for instance, I believe, I'm not 100%, but you'll say you had an IEP and you say, well, Tammy, tell me what this IEP says. What does this mean? What can I change? You'll be able to pull up your IEP and I can tell you what's wrong with it. So it's really cool. It's called Google Meet. And I put the link in today and I was trying to figure it all out. That's why I got all confused. That's an interesting, do all districts have to file how many mediations? They have to report the numbers. Yes. No, not the districts. The school, the state has that information because when you file a complaint or you have a due process hearing, that's through the State Department of Education. School districts have to report how many kids they have that are receiving special education, how many are on 504s, the type of disabilities, how many kids are in a special ed class, how many are in inclusion classroom settings like gen ed classes, how many are in significantly separate classes within the school district, how many kids are in residential, how many kids are in special ed school, how many kids get transportation, a whole lot of stuff, most of which you can get online. Okay, you can get all of that information and the findings like every 6 years or every 3 years. It's every 6 for the first one, and then every 3 years they have to do like they do a midterm, which is every 3 years. OSEP does it on every state. Okay, and you can find those reports. Massachusetts is, and it's the clearinghouse audit. You can actually get that too and find out if the Office of Inspector General has done an audit, or you can get the audits. And that's how Massachusetts got in big trouble, because their audits were a hot mess for years and years and years and years. And the state keeps violating the same regulations over and over and over again to the point where it becomes egregious. They could actually lose their special ed funding, which for Massachusetts was $643 million on average since 2011, a year. Okay. It's a lot of money. Okay. I'm in Southern California. Do all districts have to file mediations hearings that go to Office of Administrative Hearings? I don't know how you do it in your state, like in New York. In Massachusetts, when you file for a hearing, it goes directly to the Department of Education, the Bureau of Special Education Appeals. Most states have a department that handles, like in Pennsylvania, it's called the Office of Dispute Resolution. In New York, I forgot what they call it. They call it you file it. You file it through the district, I believe, or what's called IHRS. And the school district actually you file the complaint, you send it to the school district, and then the school district files it with this other department, and then you get your hearing. So each state does it different. I can tell you, do you know the name of the report? I did public. Go on the website, honey. Go on the Department of Education's website. Where are you in California? Let me check. Let me just check something out real quick. SPP, California. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, there it is, honey. It's right on your website. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you. I just remembered I could show you. Okay, I'm going to put the link in it too, okay, here. Whoops, oh, I want that. Okay, there's a link to what I'm about to show you, okay? That's not what I'm going to do. Stop sharing. Okay, share screen. Wait a minute. I want. Shoot. Okay, see this? This is where you go. All right. So testing and accountability, annual performance report measures, short summaries of special education program and student outcome data for California. Now this takes you to other places. See, here it is right here. Look, state performance. See that? Let's click on it. See, APR. This is where you find it all. Okay. Now. Okay. So this is 2018. I thought that we were supposed to have it once a year, but let me just look. Yeah, I bet. Private law firms. Of course they are. Okay, here it is right here, honey. See, state determination. Oh, no, that's Alabama. Whoops, that's not the right one. Don't do it. See where you can get it? See, this is what you do. State performance plans. This is the letter, determination letter for every single state. Okay, so now we just scroll down. So I just got this link from that site I just told you. Okay. Okay. Where's California? Oh. Okay. Part C is for the little kids, little babies. Part B is what you want. Okay. So this is 2015, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Issued. Okay. Here's the one. Wait. Is that 18, 19? Okay. Here's the one you want for California. Okay. It's part B. Determination letters. Now, what's cool about this is OSEP's response. So they have to submit a plan, and then OSEP responds to that plan. And here's what OSEP said about California. Okay. Results-driven accountability is always in there now. That's about what the state did to help kids with disabilities, have higher graduation, all of that stuff. Okay. So here's one. So you read the whole thing. The Office of Special is continuing to use both results and data compliance, specifies what you want to look for is what they were found to be in violation of, what indicator. Okay, let me see if I can do it this way. I'm going to find an indicator. INDIC. There it is. Okay, here's where you are. I love it when a plan comes together. 1 through 16, the OSEP's response to the indicator and any actions that the state is required to take. Anytime you see the word indicator, that's a thing that they, one of the things they had to meet in order to not be in trouble. Okay. 1 through 16. That's how many there were. The actions that the state is required to take are in 2 places. Actions related. Okay. So California, it's a big state. California, actions related to the correction of findings of noncompliance are in the OSEP response section of the indicator, and any other actions that this state is required to take. And the required, when you're looking at this report that they're talking about, you look under required actions section of the indicator. It is important, yada, yada. I'm trying to see. Let me see. Pursuant to these requirements, advising that the state of available sources. This talks about the stuff that they're in violation of. So, that's the new woman right here, Laurie Vanderploeg. She's new. Okay. So, did I answer your question, girl? So, what you have to do is, okay, we went here, and then I don't know what I did. What did I do? Fiscal. What did I do? I clicked on something. Okay, I think I clicked on this. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, on when you go to your California site, okay, you just go to the California site, quality assurance process. Okay, just look under that. All right. Did I give you this website? Kia Lida, what is it? Here. This is the one to this site right here. Okay. Okay. That one right there will take you here. It'll take you to this page. When you get to this page, APR fiscal year 2018, okay? A link to the individual's Office of Special Education. Please select California from the drop-down menu. What? Trying to make sure I do this right to show you. Oh, okay. So state performance letters and annual performance letters. So you're going to get both, okay? So what you do is, I don't know, filter by state. There we go. And then you do that, okay? See what I'm doing? And then you please wait. And there you are. Now, you have Part B letters and you have Part C. Now, there's another one you guys got to know about. OSEP. Okay, here's OSEP. Okay, so now what you want ports and resources, is that it? OSEP policy letters, let me see. Now I talk about, this is evidence too, OSEP policy letters. Now there's OSEP policy letters and guidance too, okay? So the Dear Colleagues letters are really good. Policies that and support documents, really good, okay? It helps you, these sites will help you to understand, like, you're not the only one. So what they did is, here are the, this stuff right here. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay. When you need, let's say you're asking a question about evaluations, okay? So you want a policy letter. A policy letter from OSEP is their own interpretation of the federal regulations, okay? That they're responsible for the implementation and the funding for, okay? So this is OSEP's own regulation and determination, and interpretation of their policy letters. Here it is right here. Policy letters. OSEP policy letters provide written guidance and clarification regarding implementation of IDEA. OSEP typically issues these letters in response to specific questions raised. This is why I'm always telling you guys to send an email to OSEP that are raised by parents, educators, representatives of advocacy organizations, state educational agencies, early intervention, and their providers and other interested parties. Okay? So here you, okay, policy letter and document support. So let's just click on this one and see what it is. Policy guidance. Okay, so this will tell you what these letters are about. Part C, provision of COVID-19. This is where I get all my COVID-19 stuff. Okay. A waiver of authority for the period of availability for individuals under the IDEA Part C funds. So this is what they're asking for right now. Letter to anonymous. What's this? Address whether a parent may be required to sign. Oh, this was real bad. This is real bad. Okay. I remember this one. Okay. In some states, states were forcing parents, and mediators were forcing parents that went to mediation to sign a confidentiality agreement. Otherwise, the mediator would just walk out of the room. That's against the law. You can't do that. Okay. That means that the mediation, which is supposed to be voluntary, is conditioned by the state. The state can't do that. The state can't make regulations that are more restrictive. You can't say mediation under Part B of the regulations is voluntary. And I think we asked this question. Yep, it was. Oh my God, they did it. I think this is my letter. Didn't even know. Okay. I was helping a parent in Texas. And that's what she did. She went to a thing. She went to a team meeting and they said that she had to sign this confidentiality agreement. And then she said, no, I'm not doing it. The guy got up and left. So she didn't get, and she was in a hearing. And so she couldn't get mediation. And the reason why she couldn't get mediation is because of the mediator. So we filed this letter and we asked her, a member of my staff, U.S. Department of Education, in correspondence with you, with the shared communication with Texas, concerning whether a parent may be required to sign a confidentiality agreement in order to participate in mediation. In your communication with TEA, Texas Education Agency, a TEA official informed you that although a confidentiality agreement pledge is not required, a school district may withdraw from the mediation process if parent refuses to sign the agreement. You contacted OSEP to request clarification regarding whether a public agency, in this case, a local educator, may condition is participation. We note 607 of the idea, yada, and eligibility idea without following the rulemaking requirements of 553. Therefore, based on the requirements of idea section, this response is provided. Okay. So now she goes into the discussion. Under idea, discussions that occur during mediation session must remain confidential. Therefore, a parent or public agency's participation in the mediation process may not be conditioned on the parties' agreement to sign a confidentiality pledge. No shit. IDEA and its implementing regulations require public agencies to establish and implement procedures to allow parties to resolve disputes involving any matter under IDEA and its implementing regulations, including matters arising prior to the filing of a due process complaint through a mediation process. The public agency must ensure, among other requirements, that the mediation process is voluntary on the part of the parties. Additionally, mediation may not be used to deny or delay a parent's right to a hearing on the parent's due process complaint or to deny any other rights afforded. The goal of the mediation for the parties is to resolve the dispute. So, questions and answers under Part B resolution. It's right there. I cited this. May parties to the mediation process be required to sign a confidentiality pledge or agreement prior to or as a precondition to the commencement of the mediation process? Answer: no. In the notice of proposed rulemaking implementing the idea of 2004, the department included a provision that would have required parties to a mediation to sign it. Okay, so at one point in time, you do? Okay, Michelle, I'm not crazy. I'm looking at now. I'm going to go find that email. It was to Rebecca. She doesn't work there. She doesn't work in that department anymore. Without, we can see back in the day, they said, the OSEP said, yes, they had to sign the thing. And then they changed it without regard to whether the meet out to resolve. Okay. This proposed provision was based on note 208 of, I don't know, conference report, yada, yada, yada. However, the department decided to remove this proposed provision. It wasn't even part of it. When the final Part B regulations were published in 2006, based on the statutory requirement of 615, that discussions that occurred during mediation must remain confidential and may not be used as evidence in any subsequent due process or civil proceeding. Okay, so what that means is what we're talking about, that can't be part of the hearing. But the mediation agreement itself can be, because it just goes to the crux of what you're agreeing to. Okay. Additionally, if the parents resolve a dispute through the mediation process, as noted through 506, requires that the legally binding written agreement contain a statement that all discussions that occurred during the mediation process will remain confidential. Okay. Which means legal binding. That means you can go straight to court if a school district violates your mediation agreement. However, nothing in these regulations is intended to prevent states from allowing parties to sign a confidentiality pledge to ensure that discussions, yada, yada, yada. See, they dare to have it both ways. That's why I don't like OSEP. Even if the parties do not sign a mediation agreement. However, nothing in this regulation is intended to prevent states from allowing parties. Allowing, not forcing. Okay, not forcing. Allowing is different than forcing. Okay, they said we couldn't have a mediation agreement. They said that we couldn't have mediation because the parent refused to sign the confidentiality agreement. And it was just district. Now you got this. Okay, Dana? Now you got this. See what I'm talking about? This is for everything. This is what I'm talking about. Proof. Okay, so now what you do is, you can send an OSEP email and you can tell them, pursuant to letter, what does it say? Policy letter dated July 31st, 2020 to anonymous. So it wasn't anonymous. She's a liar. Wait, let me see this. Usually the PDF file has the name on it. I wonder if it's, see, they took it out. They're no good. Okay, so I'm going to give you this. Copy. Okay, Dana? So get this and print that puppy. Okay. Go and print that. There you go. Does that help you out? So they can't force you. They can allow it. But that doesn't mean because you're saying the department, okay, here it is. The department's position that states may not, meaning states in the United States, may not require parties to sign a confidentiality is enforced by the department's decision in the 2006 final regulation to remove a proposed regulations that would have required parties to sign a confidentiality agreement. Okay? It's right there. I love you. I can't believe she answered my letter. She told me it was going to take over a year. She wasn't kidding. In addition to the provision that must be included in a mediation agreement, also provides that discussions that occur during mediation must be confidential. See, it's already in the law. See? Good. Take a walk and send a message. That's right, my girl. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay. So, also provides that discussions that occur during mediation process must be confidential and may not be used as evidence in any subsequent due process hearing or civil proceeding. And here's the thing. Let's say hypothetically you did do that. The first thing the other side is going to say is, I object. That was during the mediation. She can't use that pursuant to yada, yada, yada law. And the hearing officer is going to say, is that true? And you got to say, yeah, pretty much. So that's why you just submit the mediation agreement itself. Okay. So then it says, where is it? Accordingly, the requirement that discussions that occurred during mediation remain confidential is fully applicable, regardless of whether the parties sign a separate confidential, yada, yada. So therefore it's redundant. Knock it off. It's already in there. We recognize that mediation is voluntary in the part of the parties, but it is impermissible under idea for a public agency to condition a parent's participation in mediation on the parent signing a confidential, which is exactly what they did. This is what they did. So, haha. But see, she deliberately never sent this to me. None of that's nice. While nothing in idea is intended to prevent states from allowing parties to sign confidential, public agencies may not, like I just said, condition their participation in mediation on such an agreement because such a requirement is counter. That's what I told them. To the voluntary nature of the mediation process. By copy of this letter, notify TEA of your inquiry. Yep. Lovely. Justin Porter. Wow. Okay, good. Now I'm going to send that over. I can't believe she answered me. I don't understand. What's wrong with people? They're all stupid. Can't give a girl a due. Shoot. OSEP letter. Tammy's OSEP letter. Tammy's OSEP letter. That's the second one. I like it a lot. I hope it's mine. November 8th. This letter addresses your November 18th electronic. Yep. Because I'm a wench. I don't care. I'm going to tell. I can't believe that, guys. That's so awesome. It was a year. She told me it was going to take a year. She wasn't kidding. November 8th, 2019. I'm going right in my emails. I'm going to go look it up. And down, there it is. So they can't do that. So the Texas, the entire state of Texas was told, don't do it again. They got served by this little girl over here in Pennsylvania in this town that's about the big. I took on that big old state. I love it when a plan comes together. But anyway, that's what you call proof. That's your paper trail. Okay? That's what a paper trail looks like. Okay? You go to these sites and you guys can get back up to what you're asking for. If you wanted to find out about evaluations, you go to the OSEP policy letter. That's all you have to type in your browser. Watch. I'll show you. Watch this. I'm going to show you, okay? Watch this. Watch this. OSEP policy letters. All you have to type in, watch. Oh, duh. Watch. Sorry, guys. Okay. So all I did is type in that and pow, look what happens. Dear colleague letters. Okay. You can do it the topic way. So here it is right here. So cool. So let's say you want to value. This is my favorite one, guys. Okay. Because this one, see, look, It's all in alphabetical order. Okay, so let's say you want to do evaluations. Okay, so look at, you go down here, education, eligibility determination. It tells you how that can be done. So what these are letters that people have sent to ask their guidance. Okay, and it could be a lawyer. It could be it could be a lawyer. It could be a private school. It could be see, like this executive director. See, that's what happens. See, a team may determine that a child specifically, and then it breaks it all down. See, but whatever the topic, whatever one you click on, you can. Where is that sucker? I cannot believe that. It is so cool. Can you imagine? I just popped up like that. Anyhow, I'm so proud of myself. So you just type in that and you will get the policy letters. Okay, if you can't find them, whatever you guys can't find, okay, you say you can't find some, contact me. Okay, or wait till Tuesday. Tammy, I can't find this. Okay, no problem. And I'll just put it right in here for you. Okay, and then you guys, you got it. Now you just take it and you just, if you're asking for something, what you do is you take it and you send that email and you put the state special ed director. Okay, you put OSEP's name, that person that's on that letter. You put OSEP's email on there. Okay, and you put the special ed director's name on there. And you say, you said this can happen, but this is what OSEP said about that handy dandy little law. You people done lost your minds. Okay? Okay, I'm hanging up. I'm a tiger girl. You guys had me going all day. Okay. So I hope you guys like this. I'm going to do my next one on Tuesday, and it's going to be about organization, your records organization, parent organization of students' records. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to do all that email stuff and put everything together. All right. I love you. I'll see you next Tuesday. I told you guys, I'm going to get a cup. It's going to say, see you next Tuesday. I'm not, but I like it a lot. So anyway, it's just unprofessional. But anyway, I'll see you guys next Tuesday, same time, different subject. And I hope you guys had a good time. Okay. I had fun. I always do. I love you. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm out. Peace.